ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So in the last session we saw that the third valli of the second chapter has begun with the imagery of a tree of the Jagat. And what this first verse says is, we already saw the first verse in the last session. The whole Jagat is compared to a tree. An imagery of a tree is given. And I also gave the common points that are there between a tree and that of samsara. What is so common between Jagat and this tree of samsara, which is the reason why the Upanishad is giving the example of this tree. And we saw that this same example of the tree of samsara was given in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, which has been taken from Kathopanishad only. But here there is a little bit of a change in the way the mantra goes. And then what was it that was conveyed in the first verse? In the first verse, that which was conveyed was that the tree of samsara described is the tree of the Jagat, or it is an example for the Jagat, and the moolam of this tree is that subtle, unseen, unmanifest Brahman. And this Brahman, of course, is beyond our perception because our sense organs are not able to really make out, or they are not able to grasp this Brahman as an object of perception. Therefore, this tree has got its moolam or its root as Brahman, which is non perceptible. And it is about this Brahman. What is the nature of this Brahman? And what is this Brahman? That inquiry on this Moolam is actually the content of this last valli of the second chapter. The content of the chapter is that nothing but the inquiry on this Brahman, which was given as Urdhva Moolam. Urdhva Moolam means that root of this tree, which is very, very subtle, and that which is beyond perception, that which is not manifest to our through our usual manifesting ways in which we see an object, the way an object manifests, it's not available. It is something which we have to know through the Shastra and the Guru, and that Brahman is what is going to be talked about in this particular Valli of the second chapter, the last Valli. We are almost coming to the end of Kathopanishad, only a few mantras more. Now, in this verse, in the first verse, Brahman was given to be the Upadana Karanam of the entire universe. What is the meaning of Upadana Karanam? Upadana Karanam means the material cause. Just like the root is the material cause of the tree to appear, this Brahman Moolam is the Upadanam, or the material cause of this entire universe. Now, to recapitulate a little bit, we should understand that there are two types of causes in the creation of anything. One is the material through which something is made, which is called as the material cause. And in Sanskrit, the material cause is called as the Upadana Karanam. Therefore, our scriptures use the term Upadana Karanam, Jagat Upadana Karanam, Jagat Karanam Brahma. Iti the Upanishads use one of the Swarupa Lakshanas of Brahman. They say Jagat Karanam Brahma. That is what is called as the Tatastha Lakshanam of Brahma. With reference to the world, with reference to this universe, this Brahman is ultimately the material cause of this universe. Now, I already said that there are two things. One is the material cause, one is the intelligent cause. Intelligent cause means there should be an intelligent principle which is responsible for creating this product from a particular cause. If Brahman, is the Upadana Karanam, then to the material to be converted into this Jagat, there should be an intelligent principle like a pot has to be created from the clay. The clay is the Upadanam or the material cause of the pot. But what is it that actually creates the pot from this material? It is the pot maker. It is an intelligent cause. The pot maker is the intelligent cause of this pot, and the intelligent creator or the intelligent cause, which is called in Sanskrit as Nimitta Karanam. So there are two types of Karanas, Upadana Karanam and Nimitta Karanam for this entire universe. And we have only one Brahman. There is Ekam Advitiyam Brahma, which we have already seen in all the previous vallis, in the previous five vallis we have seen that Yamadharmaraja is explaining to Nachiketa that this Brahman is Ekam Advitiyam. There is nothing else. There is one and the only. This Brahman only. One alone is there. There is nothing other than this Brahman. That is what is being explained by Yamadharmaraja, and all our Upanishads. Our scriptures say that there is only one Brahman. Ekameva Advitiya Brahman. There is one Advitiyam, without a second, consciousness. Brahman is what? Consciousness and existence. There is one consciousness without a second. There is only that one consciousness. There is nothing else in this Jagat. There is only this one Brahman, which is both the Nimitta Karanam as well as the Upadana Karanam. So, what do our scriptures say? Brahman is the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. That means it's one Brahman which is both the intelligent cause as well as the material cause of this universe. And we have seen that the clay undergoes a change to become a pot, correct? But here, Brahman does not undergo any change to become the pot. Therefore, this Brahman is also called as Vivarta Karanam. So, Abhinna, Nimitta, Upadana, Vivarta Karanam of this entire universe. Brahman remains the same without any changes, but manifests itself into various names and forms, which becomes the world, which becomes nothing but the Jagat. And therefore, he says in Kathopanishad, Yamadharmaraja is describing the very first verse in which Urdhvamulam Avakshakaha, in which the tree of samsara, for which the root is unmanifest, imperceptible root, which is Brahman, is nothing but the Abhinna, that is indivisible, Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Brahman is both the Nimitta Karanam, the intelligent principle behind the creation, Upadana Karanam, the material behind the creation. Then, if Brahman alone is there, Ekameva Advitiyam, what is it that makes the appearance of a world from Brahman? It is the Maya Shakti. With the help of Maya, this one and only, without a second, Brahman is the Maya projects this entire Jagat onto Brahman. And in Brahman, this world, this Jagat appears, sustains, and resolves. This is what is the teaching of the scriptures. And in the first verse, Yamadharmaraja in Urdhvamulam Avakshakaha, in this, what was talked about was about this tree of samsara, for which right now in the first verse, Brahman is given as the Upadana Karanam or the material cause. Now in the second verse, Yamadharmaraja gives the same Brahman or indicates the same Brahman to be even the intelligent cause or the nimitta karanam behind this principle called behind this Jagat. It is the intelligent principle. It is this nimitta karanam behind this appearance called as the Jagat. We have already seen by now that the Jagat is not real. It is a mere experiential reality. It is a mere appearance, and that appearance takes place in Brahman because of Maya Shakti of Brahman, and therefore, without undergoing any change, one and the only, without a second, the same Brahman is the Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Upadana Karanam, the material cause, was explained in the first verse. The second verse now explains Brahman to be the Nimitta Karanam, or the intelligent principle behind this entire universe. And let's see what Yamadharmaraja says in the second verse. He says, Yadidam kincha jagat sarvam प्राणयेजति निःसृतं महद्भयं वज्रमुद्यतं यः एतत् विदुः अमृतास्ते भवन्ति. So this is the nimitta karanam, or the intelligent principle behind the entire universe. So what does he say? Yadidam kincha jagat sarvam. Whatever is there in this jagat, sarvam jagat, yadidam kincha. Whatever is there in this jagat, yadidam kincha, prana yejati nisritam. Here, prana is the name given to Brahman. See, that is why an Upanishad should never be studied independently, because there are certain words which are used in certain context which means something very different. For us, what is the meaning of prana? This prana, apana, udana, samana, vayu, prana. No, here, when Yamadharmaraja says that, yetad, yadidam jagat, yadidam kimcha jagat sarvam, Yadidam jagat sarvam, whatever is there in this jagat, pranaha yejati nisritam. Here prana is to be considered, is to be known, or to be understood as Brahman. Why? How do you say that? There is one more Upanishad called as Kenopanishad, in which the Upanishad says, Shrotrasya Shrotram Manaso Manoyat Vachoya Vachah Sahu Pranasya Pranaha. Pranasya Pranaha. He says this Brahman is what? The very prana of prana. This Atma or Brahman is that because of which the prana is also functioning. The prana vayu is functioning because of which it is the prana of the prana. The Atma or Brahman is nothing but the prana of the prana. Therefore, here in this verse, pranaha yejati nisritam. That means what? It is this Brahman, pranasya pranaha, this Brahman is what is actually giving rise to this Jagat. It is what is giving rise to this Jagat, the appearance of the Jagat. Nisritam. Nisritam means what? It appears. This whole world as if slips away from this intelligent cause called as Brahman. Here prana means Brahman. So yadidam kincha jagat sarvam. This entire jagat, whatever may be there in this jagat, pranaha yejati nisritam. This prana or this pranasya prana, this jagat actually is the one which is the intelligent principle behind this universe. Now, why should Yamadharmaraja or our scriptures talk about this intelligent cause of the universe? Because there are certain philosophers who ask this question, we are not seeing this Brahman as Moolam. This Brahman is imperceptible. This Atma is imperceptible. But you say the tree of Jagat appears, this Jagat appears from this Brahman. But we don't see it. How can something come out of nothing? There is nothing called as Brahman. We don't see anything called Brahman because it is not available for perception. But you say that there is a root which is subtle and imperceptible, which is called as Brahman. How can this whole universe come out from nothing, which is not even seen? This Brahman is not seen. Can it come out of nothing? Is it there? That this Brahman is not seen, therefore there must be no Brahman. That is what the certain philosophers say. So, how can this universe come out of this Brahman, which is unmanifest, which is not there? To negate this particular view only, the Upanishad talks about this Brahman being the cause, the Nimitta Karanam of this entire universe. And what example can we give? When we are sleeping, in deep sleep, in Sushupti Avastha, there is nothing there. There is total ignorance. But when we wake up, the whole world appears from this so called nothing there sleep state. What was there? In sleep, nothing was there, means Atma was there. The consciousness, the light of consciousness, which was lighting up even the sleep state, was there. And therefore, from the sleep, just like a person wakes up, similarly, from Brahman, the entire universe literally wakes up. Nisritam, it comes out from a unmanifest form to a manifest form. The universe which is unmanifest in the potential form, it appears out of this Brahman, which some people say does not exist, but it does exist as the Avasthatraya, as the Adhishtanam of Avasthatraya Sakshi, as the Adhishtanam of everything in this particular universe. Therefore, Yamadharmaraja says that this is the Nimitta Karanam. This is even the intelligent cause of this entire universe. Not only it is the intelligent cause, but by its intelligent laws, it maintains the entire universe. Just creating the universe is not enough, isn't it? It has to function. Even though the Jagat is an experiential reality, even though the Jagat is mithya, there is a certain order in this universe. There is a certain order in which this universe is functioning. And what is responsible for this object or order, that is keeping the universe intact, keeping the universe going? That order behind this entire universe, what is this entire universe? The order which is actually there, which is there in this universe. So he says that the order, or that which is literally holding an iron hand, it is as though there is something which is holding a Vajrayudam in his hand and making all the devatas function normally. It is as though all the devatas, all the functionaries of the universe are functioning out of the fear of this principle. This Brahman is also the laws in the form of the intelligent laws, in the form of cosmic laws, maintains the functioning of this entire universe. That is what is told in the second line. Mahat bhayam vajram udyatam yaha. This Brahman is as though, like Indra has Vajrayuda in his hand, which is supposed to be a source of fear for the Asuras and others. So here it is said, Mahat Bhayam, as if this Brahman is a source of great fear, Vajramudyatam, as if this Brahman is standing with the Vajrayuda in its fist, Yaha Yetat Viduhu. That means what? In that way, this Brahman also, in the form of intelligent laws, maintains the universe. For millions of years, the seasons have to come. Whatever has to happen in the universe has to happen in a certain way. There is no reason for chaos in this universe. There is no chaos. The whole universe is running in a clock like precision. And what is responsible for this precise way in which the whole universe is working? It is the very cosmic laws, the intelligent laws. These intelligent laws are what? There is an intelligent principle behind these intelligent laws. Millions of cosmic laws are there, isn't it? The magnetic laws are there, the electrical laws are there, the chemical laws are there, gravitational laws are there, space laws are there, light laws are there. Any number of laws, millions and millions of laws are there. Laws means LAWS, laws are there in this universe, which keep this universe functioning in a very, very, very precise manner. And therefore, what is it that keeps this universe functioning in such an intelligent way? This universe is, though it is an experiential reality, it's not a dumb universe. It is a very, very intelligent universe. And the intelligent laws are maintaining the working of this intelligent universe. Otherwise, there would be no scope for the jivas to survive. There would be no scope for this entire universe to survive. The very survival of billions of years of this universe may be an appearance, may be mithya, but it arises out of the same Brahman and maintained by the same Brahman, which is the intelligent principle behind the creation and maintenance of this universe. As though somebody is standing with the Vajrayuda in his hand, like a king standing with a sword in his hand, and all the bhattas or all the other people, the servants of the king, are out of fear doing whatever is necessary for the king. It is like that. That is a figurative way of saying this. Out of the fear of Brahman, as though out of fear of Brahman, this whole universe is functioning in a very, very methodical and in a very, very precise manner. Yetad viduhu. Okay, those who understand the functioning of this universe niyamena, this universe niyamena vartate. There is a niyati, there is a niyama which maintains this universe. This universe niyamena vartate yaha, this universe which is kept going by a certain niyama. The one who understands this sees this whole universe to be nothing but the karyam of Brahman, and the Brahman to be the upadana nimitta karanam, but without undergoing any change. Such a person, viduhu amritaha te bhavanti, they become immortal. When they see this Brahman as the intelligent and the material cause of the universe, they understand that the Karyam universe is Mithya and the Karanam Brahman is Satyam, and I am nothing but that Atma Brahman which is the cause of this entire universe. Therefore, in some other place it comes Mayeva Sakalam Jatam, Mayi Sarvam Pratishtitam, Mayi Sarvam Layam Yati. There is everything, this whole universe appears in me, the Atma. Atma and Brahman, we know by now, is one and the same. Mayeva. In me, this whole universe arises. I am the intelligent and the Upadana Karanam, that is the material cause of this universe. I am that intelligent principle behind the intelligent running of this universe. A person who understands this very clearly, he abides in his Atmaswarupa. Amritaha te bhavanti. They escape from the cycles of birth and death. What does this mean? That a jnani understands that Brahman is the nimitta upadana karanam of this universe and the universe is the karyam. Just to say this much, so much explanation is needed. What does a jnani see? A jnani sees Brahman as the abhinna nimitta upadana karanam of this universe and the whole manifest universe as an experiential projection, therefore mithya, karyam mithya, karanam satyam. When he sees the karanam Brahman as satyam, then this person is free, completely free from the cycles of birth and death. And to give an example, as to how the functionaries of this entire universe, the laws of this entire universe are completely committed to this Brahman in running this universe. The next verse, the third verse comes, which is a very, very poetically given an imagery again. It says here, भयाद् अस्य अग्निस्तपति भयात् तपति सूर्यः भयाद् इन्द्रश्च वायुश्च मृत्युर्धावति पंचमः. So here Mrityu Devata is talking. Bhagwan Yamadharma Raja is the Mrityu Devata. But he's saying all of us, the devas, who are the functionaries, who maintain the laws of this universe, like Agni, Vayu, Indra, myself, we all are doing our jobs out of fear of this Brahman. Bhishasmat Vatap Pavate. In another Upanishad comes the same mantra comes in another Upanishad. Bhishasmat Vatah Pavate. Bhisho Deti Suryaha. Same thing comes in another Upanishad also. Here also the same thing is said. So all the laws of the universe, the whole universe, as though the functionaries, the devatas who take care of the laws of the universe, are as though afraid of this Brahman, and they are doing their jobs without any kind of even the smallest slip. They are doing all their jobs. That is what is being said here. Bhayat asya agnihi tapati. Never ever the Agni becomes cold or without light. Wherever there is fire, principle, wherever there is fire, in any part of this universe, it may be in Siberia or it may be in one of the hottest countries of the world, it doesn't matter. Fire burns, fire has heat, fire has light, fire burns. So, Bhayad Asya Agnihi Tapati. The Agni never leaves its Swarupam, and whatever Agni is supposed to do, it is as though doing out of the fear of this Brahman. Bhayad asya agnihi tapati, bhayat tapati suryaha. For millions of years, sun is rising, lighting up the entire universe. And at a certain time, the sun sets. The laws of the sun, the laws of the cosmos are such that the sun cannot say one day that I will not shine today, I will not rise today. Of course, sun does not rise. It is the earth which is moving. But the earth cannot say that one day I will stand still in one place. I am tired of rotating around myself and rotating around the sun. It cannot say that. The sun, wherever it is, it has to emit its light and heat. It has to light up the world. So, bhayad asyaha tapati suryaha. Suryaha tapati, from the fear of this, as though out of the fear of this Brahman, Surya is also doing his job. Bhayad Indrascha, the king of the Devatas, Indra, is maintaining his job of giving rains in the appropriate seasons. Of course, now you may say, is really Indra working or not? We are getting rains all the year inappropriately. No, but then in the rainy season, when the rains come, when there is lightning, it is Indra Devata who is responsible for this rain and lightning, and Bhayad Indrascha. Indra is doing his work, giving rains at the appropriate time. Indra is doing his job as if out of fear of this Brahman. Vayuscha, the Vayu is constantly moving. As long as the earth is there, the Vayu is constantly moving. In the form of prana, it is enlivening all the jivas, and it is moving in the entire universe, inside the jivas, outside the jivas. It is doing its job for millions of years. One day Vayu can decide, I will not move. I'm so cozy in your lungs. I'm so warm and cozy in your lungs. I will not come out at all. I will sit there in your lungs. In all the Jiva's lungs, I will continue to sit there. If Vayu decides like this, then where is the question of the function of Vayu? Therefore, Vayu is constantly flowing and the wind is all the time blowing, and the Vayu is acting in the form of prana. making these jivas live for whatever is their prarabdha time of their life. They have to supposed to be alive. It is making them alive. So Vayushcha Mrityur Dhavati Panchama, the fifth one. Mrityu Panchamaha means what? The fifth one for counting. Agnihi is the first one, Surya is the second one, Indraha is the third one, Vayu is the fourth devata mentioned, and Mrityu devata Panchamaha, the fifth one. I, Mrityu devata is telling Mrityur Dhavati Panchama. All the time Yamadharmaraja is running. What is Yamadharmaraja's job? Taking the dead away, taking, the jiva whose prarabdha is over, taking them away, giving them death. This is ultimately the work of Yamadharmaraja. And if Yamadharmaraja goes on strike and says, I'm not going to do my work, just imagine the situation on this earth, what it is going to be. It is Yamadharmaraja's acting, or it is his functioning, it is his work that is keeping a balance in this earth. Otherwise, what would have happened? We don't know how many are there in the other world, but at least in this world, whatever balance is being kept, in spite of all our complaints that the balance is losing, even then, Mrityuhu Dhavati Panchama iti. That means what? All these devatas, all these functionaries are functioning because of that intelligent principle called as Brahman. This is only a poetic way of saying, as though Indra is scared of Brahman, Vayu is scared of Brahman. It is not so. Ultimately, Agni, Vayu, Indra, Mrityu, they are all laws. We have converted them, or we are seeing them as Devata for the sake of Upasana. But Agnihi and Vayuhu, Indra, Surya, these are all, though we are seeing them, they are functionaries. They are functioning with a certain law to keep this universe functioning. And therefore, that intelligent principle called as Brahman, which maintains this entire universe, all these functionaries are nothing but the laws, various cosmic laws which are keeping the cosmos going. It is as though these laws are afraid of Brahman. It's not that they are afraid, but it is that Brahman which is the ultimate principle, which is carrying on maintaining great power, that great power of Maya with Brahman is carrying on this whole universe going on like this, where all the functionaries are doing their jobs. This has been said. So the first verse talks about Brahman being the Upadana Karanam. The second verse talks about Brahman being the Nimitta Karanam. And the third verse talks about how, as the Nimitta Karanam and as the intelligent maintenance principle, how Brahman, in a very intelligent way, through the laws of the universe, is maintaining this entire universe. So, now, next one, in the next verse, it says, Upanishad says, Yamadharma Raja says, that if this Brahman is not known in this life, this Jagat Karanam Brahma, this Moolam Brahma, this Nimitta Upadana Karanam Brahma of the entire universe, if this Brahman is not known as what? This Brahman to be I myself. I, this consciousness, I, this Atma is nothing but this Brahman. If I do not know this Brahman, the way it is to be known as the Jagat Karanam Brahma, then it is a great waste. If I do not know this, I'll be born again and again and again, because I consider the Karyam Jagat to be Satyam, and the Karanam Jagat is not at all known by me. That is our avidya. That is our ignorance. We see the Karyam only, and we take the Karyam Jagat, the effect called as Jagat, as the reality, and completely forget or don't even know. There's no question of forgetting here. We are not even aware. We don't even know that for this beautiful manifest universe, which is running with such precision with all its laws, there is something greater or subtler or higher called as that consciousness Brahman, which is the Karanam of this universe. We are not even aware of this. So the Upanishad says, Yamadharma Raja says, it is such a waste of one's life. If one disappears from this life, leaves this body, without even knowing or understanding the karanam of this experience jagat. And then what happens? This jiva who dies, who leaves this physical body when the body dies, goes searching for other bodies, keeps coming back again and again and again into the cycles of birth and death. That's what he says in the fourth verse. So he says, इह चेद् अशकद् बोद्धुं प्राक् शरीरस्य विसृसः ततः सर्गेषु लोकेषु शरीरत्वाय कल्पते. Okay, so where can you know this Brahman? Only in this human body. Only the human jiva is capable of knowing this Brahman. Why? Because it is only this human jiva which has got the intelligence, the buddhi to understand about this Brahman. Can any animal know that? It cannot know. Can any plant know about this Brahman? No. Which is the life form that has got the ideal situation, the ideal intellect to know this Brahman? It is the human form. That is why in Vivek Chudamani Shankaracharya says it is very, very rare to get a human birth. It is not easy to get a human birth. We should have done enough of punya to have been born in this particular janma as a human. And to be born as a human, our ultimate purushartha or our goal should be getting out of this repeated coming back again and again into cycles of birth and death. That should be our goal, because it is only in this human life that one is able to really understand this Brahman. All other lives, once this jiva escapes from this body, which kind of a body it is going to embody in its next incarnation, we don't know. It can embody itself as a Deva Sharira, it can embody itself as a Gandharva Sharira, as a Pitru Sharira. It can go in the higher lokas and take any of these births in any of these bodies, or this Jiva. If the Papa Karmas are more, this Jiva can even come back to lower yonis also. We know that. We have seen that in Bhagavad Gita. We have seen that in Viveka Chudamani. That if we have not understood this, Kenopanishad says, Mahati Vinashti. It's a great loss, a possibility, a golden opportunity, a golden possibility which we had as a birthright. We have not accomplished it, and it is a great loss. So he says here, Iha, in this janma, ched, if ashakat bodhum, in this janma, if we are not able to see this Karanam Brahma, see means what? Understand this Karanam Brahman as myself. If we are going to keep on taking the Karyam Jagat as the reality, iha ched ashakat bodhum prak sharirasya visrisaha, before the death of this body, before the death of this body. So you can understand the importance of this body also. As long as this body is there, this body is the vehicle for moksha also. That is why in Kathopanishad only we saw that this body is compared to a ratha and the jiva to a ratha swami. And I can take this ratha anywhere towards moksha, I can take it, or towards next birth, I can take it. Because this is a vehicle, this is an ayatanam, this is a ratha. We have seen that in the Ratha Kalpana in the same Kathopanishad, that this body is like a vehicle ratha, and this vehicle is very necessary for our journey. And Prak Sharirasya Visrisaha, before this body is completely gone in the form of death. Forget about, if actually speaking, even in old, supposing I say, right now I'm not interested in this. When I retire, when I have nothing else to do, at that time I will study Vedanta. That won't be possible. As this body ages, Roga will be there will be memory deficits will be there, Ears will not be hearing properly. The mind cannot concentrate. We can't sit in one place and listen to this. It is not possible. As the body is aging itself, it is not possible. What about when the body dies? So, prak sharirasya visrasaha, before this body dies, iha, in this janma, ashakat bodhum ched, if we are not able to understand this Karanam Brahman, see this Karanam Brahman as the Satyam or reality, what happens? Tataha, Tataha means what? From there, because of that, Sargeshu Lokeshu Shariratvaya Kalpate. This Jiva loses the opportunity once again. We have lost it so many times. We don't know how many times we have come in this world as human beings. We don't know. This time we have got a human birth. How many previous births we have been human beings, we are not aware. We don't know. What all kind of births we have had, we have no idea. But in this world, this janma, we have come with this body. And if we don't make use of this janma for knowing this Brahman, we have lost an opportunity. We have lost an opportunity forever. Tataha sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate. This jiva goes searching for another body. It goes looking for another body. And in due time, how much time? We don't know. After this jiva separates from this physical body, how much time the jiva takes to come back to the next body? We do not know. And therefore, if we have lost this opportunity, we have lost one more opportunity. And we don't know how long we'll have to wait, for how many janmas more we have to wait to come back to this human form. And in the next verse, Bhagwan Yamadharmaraja says, why is it important to be in a human form to understand this knowledge? Is it not possible in other fields of experience to know this knowledge? Is only the Bhuloka or the Manushya Janma is where this knowledge is known? Is it not possible for us to know this Atman or Brahman in any other kind of a body? So, for that answer, for that question, the answer is given in the next verse, the fifth verse. And in the fifth verse, Yamadharma Raja says that there are some other janmas also where this knowledge is possible, but it is very, very difficult. It is not clear. This knowledge is not clear. So, in the next verse, Lord Yama, Acharya Yama, explains that there are three other fields of experience in addition to human birth. There are three other births, three other lokas in which this particular knowledge is possible. In Manusha Janma, it is possible. In Pitruloka, it is possible. In Gandharva Loka, it is possible. And in Brahma Loka, it is possible. In these four lokas, lokas means what? Fields of experience, where a jiva who has done a lot of punya, predominantly a jiva who has done predominantly punya karmas, may be born in an exalted being's body, like a Gandharva or a Deva or a Pitru or whatever. They are all various fields of experiences. And in the next verse, Yamadharma Raja says that this knowledge is possible in other three worlds also, in other three lokas also, like in the human loka, but it is not very clear. The clarity that one has about this knowledge, human buddhi is the most conducive for this knowledge. That is what he wants to say in the next verse. And he gives examples of why it is difficult, this knowledge is difficult in other lokas. So, what does he say? Yatha adarshe tathatmani, yatha swapne tatha pitruloke, यथा अप्सु परिवदृश्ये तथा गन्धर्वलोके छायातपयोरिव ब्रह्मलोके. So there are four lokas. Out of the 14 lokas, there are four lokas in which this knowledge is a possibility. See, possibility is very different from certainty. We have to understand that. Oh, I may say, okay, there are other three lokas in which this knowledge is possible. Therefore, let me, wait for those lokas. How do you know that in the next Janma you are going to be born as a Gandharva or a Pitru? How does one know that he is going to be born in Brahmaloka? It is not possible to know. And I may not be born as a human also. I may be born in some other loka where this particular knowledge is not possible at all. So he says, Yatha adarshe tatha atmani. In this human body, in this human birth, this knowledge is as clear as looking into a mirror. Yatha adarshe. That is crystal clear in Manushya Buddhi. As a Manushya, as a human being, this knowledge can be had or understood in a crystal clear way in this Manushya Buddhi, just like how you look at a mirror in front of you. How clearly you see whatever is there in front of you in this mirror, in a mirror in front of you. So clear is this knowledge in Manushya Loka. Then, yatha swapne tatha pitraloke. In Pitraloka also this particular, Pitru means mains, we call them mains, Pitraloka also, the kind of exalted jivas. In Pitraloka also this knowledge is possible, but how is it? It is vague like in a swapna. You see, we have swapna or dream in which we see things very vaguely, and when we wake up, we can't even remember what we saw. So, it is a vague knowledge in swapna. Similarly, this knowledge in Pitriloka, the knowledge of Brahman in Pitriloka is possible, but it is not certain because it is very vague, like in Swapnaha. Then, in the next Gandharva Loka, Yatha apsu pariva dadrishe tatha Gandharva Loke. In Gandharva Loka also, this particular knowledge is possible, but it is very unclear. It is like looking at your reflection in flowing water. When the water is slowly flowing, when we look bend into the water, we see our own face as a reflection. But how is that reflected face? It is moving. Even in clear water, our face cannot be seen very clearly because water is not such a clear reflecting medium. There is some disturbance depending upon the movement of water. The face, our reflection also shakes. Therefore, in Gandharva Loka also, this knowledge, Gandharvas are also a type of exalted beings. In Gandharva Loka also, if I have done enough punya, if I go to Gandharva Loka, this knowledge is possible. This knowledge is possible, but it is very unclear. It is like looking at your own reflection in water. Yatha apsu. That means, as you are looking at a surface of water, as a sheet of water, how it is not very clear. Dadrishe tatha gandharvaloke. Brahmaloke, what happens in Brahmaloka? Chaya tapayo river. In Brahmaloka also, it is very clear, like day and night, it is very clear. But what kind of a life we should lead to go to Gandharva sorry, not Brahmaloka. What kind of life we should have to go to Brahmaloka? We should do Karma Yoga, we should do Upasana, and Brahmaloka is the Upasana Phala. And how does a yogi, one has to be a yogi? In 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we have seen how a yogi, an upasaka, has to bring in all his sense organs and prana to the heart, from there to the Sushumna Nadi, and take that entire jiva up through the Brahmarandra. He has to release it at the same time, remembering or understanding this Ishvara Brahman. Then, through this Shukla Gati, this jiva enters into the Brahmaloka. This is the way to go to Brahmaloka. How many of us are upasakas? How many of us have done this karma and upasana samuchaya? How many of us are yogis? How many of us can afford to really withdraw all our senses and prana into the Sushumna Nadi and direct it towards the Brahmarandra and out, at the same time remembering or constantly keeping the mind on Ishvara. Is it possible for us? Knowledge may be possible in Brahmaloka, but is it possible for me to go to Brahmaloka after the death of this body? I don't even have the qualifications. If I have the qualifications, I go to Brahmaloka, I get the same knowledge in Brahmaloka and get Krama Mukti. That is possible. Yes. But then the possibility of being born in Brahmaloka in the next Janma is itself so remote. So, what is it that I have now in my hands? Where I am going to be born in my next life, I do not know. I may not be born either a Gandharva or a Pitru. Of course, going to the Brahmaloka is something probably highly impossible for all of us in this particular age. Impossible. What is it that I have now in my hand? Manusha Janma. In Manusha Janma and in Brahmaloka Janma and Brahmaloka, it is the same way one can clearly see this knowledge. That is what Yamadharmaraja is saying. Going to Brahmaloka is next to impossible. Gandharva Loka, Pitraloka, the knowledge is not clear. Even if we manage to go there, we will not get this knowledge because now itself we have so much confusion. In this human birth, when the knowledge is possible to be so clear, in this birth itself we have so much of confusion. What about Gandharvaloka, Pitraloka? So he says that this is the best life. I have got this opportunity. I'm born a human. If I have come to Vedanta already, if all of us who are here, who have sustained and continuously committed to listening to Vedanta, it means that we have done enough of sadhana in our previous lives and therefore we have come to Vedanta. At least we are in a position to listen, commit ourselves to Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. This is the opportunity we should not lose. That is what Yamadharmaraja is saying. Though it is possible for this knowledge to be gained in other three lokas, there is nothing like Manusha Loka because you are already born a human being. You already have the instrument which is capable of this knowledge. And if you have come to me, Krishna says, if you have already become a Jignasu Bhakta, it is not late for you to become a Jnani Bhakta. You are no longer an Artha Bhakta, Artharthi Bhakta. Doesn't matter. All of us are once in a way Artha Bhaktas, Artharthi Bhaktas. It is not possible for us to be Jignasu Bhaktas all the time unless we become Jnani Bhaktas. Yes, doesn't matter. Let us pray to Ishvara for our Artha Bhakti, Arthartha Bhakti. No problem. But if we have come to Vedanta, we are already Jignasus. We want to know our nature. We want to know what is the nature of Ishvara. We have come to this. You have come so far. Don't miss the opportunity. Yamadharmaraja is telling us in through the instrument of Nachiketa, he is telling us. And in the next verse, he says that Atmajnana is possible in human birth, which is the most conducive for Atmajnana. After saying this, he says, don't look at your indriyas, your body, mind, sense complex, and the world as reality because the world just appears and disappears. The indriyas, with all their objects, appear and disappear. They are not there continuously. Don't lose yourself in thinking that this is reality. This world is only an experiential reality. This is not the ultimate reality. May you understand that this Karya Jagat is a mere appearance, a mere projection. The Karanam Brahma, the Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam Brahma is actually the reality. And that reality is me, the Atma. May that be known very clearly. May you stop identifying yourself with your body, mind, sense complex. So that is what is being told in the sixth verse. What does he say? Indriyanam pritak bhavam udayastamayau chayat prithag utpadyamananam Matva dhiro na shochati. Indriyas are pratyak. That is, Indriyas are different from me. They are incidental. The Indriyas, that is the sense organs, which includes the body, mind also. The body, mind, sense complex. I am not the body, mind, sense complex. I am not the Indriyas. I am not the object of the Indriyas. The body, mind, sense complex arise and resolve. At the time of birth, they arise, and then at the time of death, they just resolve. Every day, also, the body mind sense complex is disappearing in sleep, appearing again in Jagrita Avastha, again, sort of disappears in the Swapna Avastha, totally disappears in the Sushupti Avastha, comes back again. So, Indriyanam Pritag Bhavam Udayasthamauchayat. The Indriyas are rising and setting every day also. In sleep they set, and in Jagrat Avastha they rise again. Pritak Utpadyamananam Matva Dhiraha Na Shochati. This Dhira, this Viveki understands that these Indriyas and the Bhavas, the objects of the Indriyas, I am not. I am not the Indriyas. I am not the body. I am not the body mind sense complex which arises and sets. Udayasthamo. When I wake up, the body also arises, the sense organs also arise, the sense objects also arise. And when I go to sleep in the dream state, also they are not there. This set of body mind sense complex, because I have a different set of body mind sense complex in dream. In sleep also they are not there. When before this body is born, they are not there. Once this body dies, they are not there available to me. So this sense organs and all the objects of the sense organs, this body mind, I am not this body mind. They constantly arise and disappear. Therefore, they are not the truth. They are not the reality. Iti matva. Knowing in this way, aviveki, adhiraha, anyani, na shochati. He is beyond sorrow. He does not grieve anymore. The grief is because of what? Body mind sense complex. Thinking that the body mind sense complex is real and thinking that things that I want do not happen and thinking that all my problems are because of something else, giving reality to this world of objects, giving reality to the body mind sense complex. This is the reason why I am actually in sorrow. I am insecure. I have fear. I have sorrow. Shoka, bhaya, moha is only because of this. But a dhira, a jignasu, a viveki, a jnani, who have understood very clearly that I am not this rising and setting sense organs and sense objects. Such a person is freed from sorrow here and now. This is what is called as the Jivan Mukti or Sadhyo Mukti. So we'll stop with this now. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे च